we want to find that motivation that we first had when we came in, which is really important so that we can kind of kickstart to get things going. But the real trick behind motivation is habits. And a lot of what we talked about last week is that habit stacking, right? When you start to do one healthy thing and you create a group where you're around people who are a little more, healthy focused, those little things are gonna stack on each other, and you're gonna see it snowball into the path that you want, where you're gonna be doing the workouts and the drinking the water, and then you're gonna think about it a little bit closer. What should I eat for lunch? You'll start thinking about those things kind of all in that sequence. So then habit stacking really helps us to be how would you say it? More prepared, because motivation is only going to take us like so far. Motivation like gets us started. It's that little trickle effect where it just gets you going, but it's not really enough to get you going, because motivation goes just like that. Like you can get here and then be like, oh, I'm not ready. So we really got to find those ways where we build habits, because habits will get you there. So creating and habits fall in line with creating structure. If we have structure built in, so last week we talked about how do you guys drink water? What kind of bottle do you drink it? Do you like pulling a new bottle each time? Do you like drinking from a straw? Do you like drinking from a big bottle, a small bottle? So those little things, when you put structure in with your goals, you're gonna make it a little more solid so that it sticks with you. Because life happens every day. It happens to us, it happens with us, and we can either let it run us over, or we can build these things in place so that we have more control in our lives. And that's our goal, is put things in place so that you can lean on your habits so that we're healthier. So, all right, and that's going to be really important, because we have the motivation, we're getting here, but now we need to put in some structure in place so that we keep things moving even when we don't feel like it. So, I'm going to run through some, let's see, we're going to go right into our pop quiz segment. I know you guys are a fan of this. So again, true is up, false is down. Pop quiz, we're going to start with number 1. Drinking water first thing in the morning can help kickstart your metabolism. True's up, false down. Yeah, true, very nice, yes. All right. So you guys tell me, what are some of the things that I've harped on, that Amber, Tyler, John, why do we keep talking about water and why it's important? Or maybe you learned it in a class where you already know. I want to hear from you guys. Why do you think water is important?
Muscles need water.
Muscles need water, yes.
And more of our body is built up with water, so we have to refill.
Yes.
It lubricates our bones.
Yes, it lubricates our bones. Our body is made up of water. Do you have an answer? Yes, that's its main job. You did great, to keep us hydrated. Absolutely. Very nice, guys. Those are really good. So definitely all those things, right? Especially like our joint lubrication, our muscles needing it, like T said. So water is so fundamental. So when we are in a phase where we're like, well, I just don't feel like drinking it, we got to find a way to get out of that like rut. We got to do things like we talked about last week: citrus fruits in our water, berries, anything that you like. If you want to throw some rosemary, mint, I mean, you name it. If you're going to drink it more that way, then more power to you. That's what we want. So water is very important, and trying to build in that structure so you get more of it in. So if your goal is first thing in the morning, I brush my teeth, I'm going to drink a glass of water before I drink my coffee, and that's your coffee is your reward. You're building in the habit so that you get more water in. So you got to like reward yourself, sneak those things in so that you have structure. All right, we're going to go right into carbs are bad for you and should be avoided if you want to lose weight. True or false? False is down, true is up. All right, I see a whole lot of hands down, and false is correct. All right, guys, so why is that? You guys tell me, why are carbs important? Why aren't they the big scary guy that makes us gain all the weight? Tell me. Body needs energy, absolutely, yes. Yeah. So that's one of its main big goals is it helps give us the energy and the fuel to keep moving. So we definitely need it, can't stay away from it. Now, there are some diets out there that do reduce it or completely take it away. So those aren't always things that can be sustainable. So those are things to consider if somebody has ever tried those things in the past. They might have worked if you were consistent, because the reality of it is consistency will get you results. And so if you were consistent, you might have seen results, and that might have worked for a time, but really our body does need those carbs. So we need to find a way to have carbs be our friend and not be scared of them. All right.
The right kind of carbs.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. The right kind of carbs. That goes right into which carbs? Which carbs are we talking about, guys? What was that? Veggies. So we have carbs and veggies. That's a good one. What other options are you guys aware of? Complex carbs. Absolutely. Yes. That's our favorite, right? Because they give us that longer energy. They're not going to spike our insulin and kind of jump up and bring us back down the way sugars naturally kind of do, along with other processed foods that have a higher carb content. You get that sugar and that carb quick, and then you drop right. It's quick. Fruits are definitely your berries are going to be some of your best friends because they have that longer sustained energy, whereas some of our other fruits are, sometimes we want to stay away from them a little bit more, right? Because they have a higher natural sugar content. Yep. So just, and everything we got to consider balance in moderation, because I don't want to say, oh, those kind of fruits they're not good, but it's more like they're not helpful. They're not helpful for us right now. That's the way we want to think about it. All right, so those are really good options, guys. All right, next question. You should avoid all fats in your diet to be healthy. True or false? False is down, true is up. Okay, oh my gosh, you guys make me so happy. So everyone said false, that is correct, yes. Why are fats important? You guys tell me. Because it's a macro? Oh.
Energy again, but.
Okay, yes.
It keeps you fuller longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're good fats, bad fats.
Yes, because they're the trans fats, right? We try and stay away from trans fats. We really like us to have those fats that come from our nuts, avocado, the olive oils. Those are going to be ones that we prefer and we lean towards. Now, the other really helpful thing about fats is it really helps our brain function. It's definitely one that our brain can't go without. And so you might notice if you're a little foggy and you haven't eaten, a lot of times just eating a whole egg, whether you boiled it or you cooked one up real quick, you're going to get protein in there, you're going to get your fat in there, and a lot of times that really does help with more healthier brain function. There's a lot of really great heart benefits as well to consider. So those, but it goes with the healthier fats. All right, let's see. Oh, I almost forgot, and hormone function. That's very important. We can't forget that because our hormones are such big regulators of how our body does throughout the entire day. So it will affect how well you're doing with your metabolism and all the other functions if you haven't had enough of it in the day. All right, next question. It's better to eat 3 large meals in a day instead of multiple smaller meals. True or false? True is up, false is down. It's better to eat 3 large meals. 3 large meals. It's false? Yeah. So everyone is saying false? Well, and now everyone's, built a little bit differently. Our schedules are different, so it's not an all or nothing thing, but it is false. So really, what comes behind how we get food in throughout the day is really going to depend on personal preference. So again, that work structure, if that works better for you, but also balancing, no matter what you're eating, it's all about balancing all the food that you've been getting. So if you're eating, whether you eat it all in one sitting and you can tolerate that and it doesn't give you any digestive issues, or you eat small bites throughout the day, the reality of what you're eating is more important than when you're eating. So have you guys heard, don't eat after 8 because you're going to gain weight, right? And so people try. So now the reality of that is you can eat after 8 and not gain weight. You can eat at 10, 11 o'clock and not gain weight because it's about what you eat. Now, when you put a barrier or a stopping point for yourself to stop eating, that's a great way to stop like the ghost snacking that you might have. So it really is better at just controlling, it helps people control when to say, I've had enough. But it doesn't mean that if you ate after hours that you would gain. So that's just something, that's like an urban myth out there. All right. Next question. Vegetables should make up at least half your plate at meals when you're at a function or at a party. Like that's the same thing. True or false? Veggies should take up half your plate. This is kind of like one we talked about last week. True? Very nice. Yes, true. So when we are out and about and we can't control how the veggies or how the food is made, let's say you went to work and you forgot your lunch in your home fridge and you go to the work cafeteria, that's a really great rule of thumb. Make sure you fill up half your plate with veggies so that you're getting in the right nutrition, and then portion out smaller portions of the carb and the protein. All right, next question. Skipping breakfast is the best way to lose weight. True or false?
That's fine.
False. Very nice.
Not if you want to get your protein in.
I love that. Not if you want to get your protein in. Oh my gosh. Absolutely, right? We got to think about it can be really challenging to get all the protein in and to pick food that is going to have enough of it in there so that you're not stuck with, well, now it looks like, according to Avatar, I got to eat 8 ounces of chicken breast.
When you're at 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock in the morning, you're trying to get your protein in, it is hard.
Oh, yeah.
You have to start early.
I love it. Absolutely. If you wait till the end of the day to get all your protein in, it is going to be very hard. Now, Tyler has an insane amount of calories. I think he's at like 3,500. So his fun little story that I'll share is he didn't have enough. Okay, I'm going to tell you 2 stories. He didn't have enough fat. So he had eaten his protein and he had eaten his carbs, but he didn't have enough fat along with his diet. And so he put it into Avatar and was like, how do I do this? oh, 2 tablespoons of straight olive oil would get him there. And he sure did. Took it back, and I was like, that's gross. But I will also, right, I will also fess up, when we had started our first bodybuilding competition, he had to eat all the time, so much food. He was so tired. He was like, he had a long day. He was like, I cannot eat. So I was like, why don't you just drink it? And I was joking. And here goes Tyler, puts his chicken, his rice, and whatever vegetable, maybe green beans, into a blender, and he drank it. Yeah. Yeah, it was very and I was joking, so I feel guilty now because I made that happen. But yeah, it was very gross. But he did hit his numbers and he was very proud. So so again, if you don't think about it early enough, when you get to the end of the day, you might have to pull a Tyler move, and those are not fun. All right, so we're gonna go to our next one. Oh wait, we were talking about skipping breakfast. And then we talked about how that doesn't help with our protein. But another thing to consider is how our blood sugars are throughout the day. It is, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so there's intermittent fasting.
Yes.
And typically you fast within a certain period of time and you eat within a certain window, like 12 to 8.
Yeah.
So I was doing intermittent fasting before.
Yeah.
Before I came onto the program and before I couldn't get my protein in. And I had to start doing protein in the morning to get it in.
Yeah.
And so you say that if you intermittent fast, you will use the fat that's stored as energy. So what are your thoughts on?
So intermittent fasting is a great tool to use when you're trying to fit healthy eating into a crazy busy scheduled life. And so it can definitely work out if you're, a lot of night shifters seem to see the benefit in fasting because, they've been up all night and they don't want to eat at 8 in the morning because they actually need to go to bed. And so depending on your lifestyle and your preference, it's a great tool to use. And it's kind of like that, how people say don't eat after 8 or 7 because you don't want to gain weight. Really, that's actually like a trick of intermittent fasting because you're giving yourself an eating window. So really it just allows you to, I need to make sure focus. I need to make sure I get my food in at this time to this time. So it really just encourages you to prioritize your food in that time. So it is a great tool, and we can definitely, if you guys are ever in your program and you feel like you want to jump into it, Avatar can add it into your settings as a feature, and then we can talk about what windows, because there's multiple windows that we can make and shorten, and depending on how your schedule is. So that's definitely a really great tool if you're looking at using it. So that was a good question. Let's see. All right, we got a couple more. You guys are doing great. Processed foods are always unhealthy. True or false? True is up, false is down. Processed foods are always unhealthy.
This is a trick question.
Right? Everyone's scratching their heads.
I'm gonna say
False. Okay, looks like false, and false it is. Nice job, guys. So when we go to processed foods, not all of them are going to be bad. The best example probably is going to be our frozen foods because they're set and ready for you to just throw in the microwave and good to go. And I think a lot of times we might think that if it's like processed and bagged, we should avoid it. We want to go fresh. And fresh is ideal. But with people who have busy schedules like every single one of us, it can be really hard to eat all your broccoli or your lettuce the day that those first couple days that you buy it before it goes bad and it's all wilted.
Right.
So it is a battle. So definitely not all processed foods are bad. That would be a really good option for one. The main thing is we want to limit. So again, all of life is we're looking for balance. And so if you think of and you approach your foods the same way, where you're looking for balance and you want to get, it's not that it's an all or nothing, but you're looking to try and even things out, you're going to see better results that way. All right, let's see. Drinking sugary drinks like soda is one of the easiest ways to gain extra calories. True or false? True? Yep, correct. It is true. It is, and it's so easy. And then if you think about it, like you could have had an extra, piece or slice of something, but you drink it. So drinking your calories can be a very slippery slope there because all of those calories they're added onto into your ticker, but you don't really get the full benefit of it because a lot of times you're just getting a lot of carbs from the sugar. So very nice. All right, going right into meal prepping can save time, reduce stress, and improve your nutrition. True or false? We're not a fan of that. That question seems loaded. Very nice. True. Very nice. Yes. So planning can make the rest of your life a little easier. So it's definitely something to consider. Can it be boring? Yes, it can. But if we think about the goal behind it and how much money we're saving by doing it, right, we're looking at that balance. A little bit of boredom because you're going to have, let's say you have chicken fajitas for lunch, and so you're like, gosh, it's my third day. You can always swap it from lunch to dinner. So think about doing variations in that way. I think one time I had, chicken and rice for lunch, and I was like, gosh, it's already day 4 or day 5, and I was like, oh, I did not want to eat it. And so instead what I did was I poured some egg whites in a pan, I cut up and diced my chicken very small so that I could throw that into my eggs, threw some veggies in there, and made that chicken veggie omelet. And so if you start thinking about using what you have, it does come out cheaper, and it keeps you close to your goals. So you can always redress your food if you get tired of it, but stick to it because you're going to save so much money and you're going to stay consistent. And the consistency is what we need to reach our goals. All right, we are getting close, guys. Let's see. Where's my? Oh, this is okay. Now this is a little activity. So if you know the answer, shout it out. But I want to know what are the macros? What are the macros that we focus on here? Go ahead and say them. Protein, carb, fat. All right, that was a softball there. Now give me how many calories per gram? How many calories per gram for each one? So when you have a protein and there's, let's say, 50 grams of it, how do we know how many calories that is? We multiply the total of protein towards what? Does anyone know what we multiply that by? Anybody? You're low. No. So you're going to multiply your grams of protein by 4. So that's going to give you the calories for that protein. Now the same goes for fat and carbs. So for carbs, whatever the carb content is, you multiply that by 4. So just like protein, and then you'll know how much of the calories in that item comes from carb, and then you can section out comes from protein, and then lastly fat. So does anyone want to take a guess how many calories are per gram for each gram of fat? And if you guys remember talking to me, I'm always like, oh, we gotta reduce how much we eat of it. So we're at 9 calories per gram, 9. So we're doubling. So this is why when you see fat content in an item, you really do want to go for the lower option. And if you look at the food list that we have, we're looking at the low fat, like the low fat or no fat for like the cottage cheese or the yogurt, because you're going to get all the goodness of the protein and less of the calories or no calories from fat, which increase your calorie content. And at the end of the day, the caloric reduction is kind of what we're looking for when it comes to weight loss. So it's all a numbers game. I know. I'm bad with numbers, so it makes me sad. Yeah, and Avatar will do it for you, but it's really good to know because now think of it like this. You go to a dinner party in somebody's house and you look at let's say they made a food and you're looking at, what to pick. And if they have something where there's like, I don't know, a bunch of avocado and let's say pepinos or cucumbers. And so if they have something like that, right, where there's veggies and avocado, you want to think to yourself, for each gram of that, avocado, you're getting 9 calories. So you want to get a smaller spoonful. And if you guys remember, we said to use about a thumb size when it came to fats. So that's where that comes into. Our calories go up when there's a higher content of fat. So those are things I want you guys to think about. It makes you smarter so that you make a better choice on your food options. So any questions for me so far? No? Okay, perfect. I'm going to wrap it up here with, okay, where is it? I thought I had a bonus question. Okay, no bonus question. That's okay. We just ran through a bunch of them. You guys did really, really well. So I am really, really proud of you guys. You guys are listening. You're absorbing all the information. Your coaches and I, we're all here for you. So if you ever have another food question, definitely let us know so that we can talk about it. Because the more that we understand our food, the better. Our food should never be like a scary thing or a thing we want to avoid. We want to just make smarter choices, smarter, balanced choices, right? Because that's what our life is all about, having balance.